Away from North America and look further towards the Middle East, but stick with US President Donald Trump, who is calling on Hamas to accept what he describes as a final proposal for a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza. He says Qatari and Egyptian mediators will deliver the terms to Hamas shortly. Trump announced that US officials held a long and productive meeting with the Israeli representatives, though he didn't name them. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Vice President J.D. Vance were expected to meet senior Israeli advisor Ron Dermer. He confirmed that Israel has agreed to the terms and promised that the US would work towards ending the war during the ceasefire. Trump warned Hamas that the deal will not get better, it will only get worse. Speaking to reporters in Florida, Trump said he's hopeful an agreement could be reached as early as next week and reaffirmed he'll be very firm with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu when they meet at the White House. Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Saar confirmed Israel's approval of the US proposed 60-day ceasefire, which would also see half of the remaining hostages freed in exchange for Palestinian prisoners and bodies. Trump believes momentum from recent strikes on Iranian nuclear sites and a separate ceasefire may help lock in a longer-term truce in Gaza. He stressed his priority, getting hostages out and stopping the fighting. Well, joining us to discuss this latest development in, of course, an ongoing devastating situation in Gaza for both sides, Dr. Wael Awad, a Middle East affairs expert, joining us from New Delhi. Thank you ever so much for your time. Trump has proposed what he calls a final chance for Hamas. Israel has agreed to it. Given the recent activity in the Middle East, do you think there's more likelihood that Hamas might agree to this deal? And could there be an end to the devastation across both Israel and Gaza in terms of the current fighting?
Thank you for having me. I think what the Palestinians wanted, a permanent ceasefire and end of the hostilities by the Israelis and the genocide that is imposed on them. So therefore, such kind of a temporarily ballistic or cosmetic ceasefire does not serve the Palestinian cause. You must know that these are the people who are suffering currently in Gaza because of the continuous bombardment, even at the humanitarian aids, which is even Israel themselves have admitted that they have been bombarding the aid people running for aid. So therefore, I think a ceasefire of a 60 days does not solve the main cause of ending this war. What you need is a permanent ceasefire, and that's temporarily what will give you the guarantee for not Netanyahu not to come back to attack again on Gaza or on the West Bank. You know, this is the situation developing in that region because of so much of regional changes and upcoming events. We need to see it not in isolation of Israel war on Gaza or on the Palestinians. We must remember that the war on Iran, the Syrian approach, the Abraham Accord, the visit of Netanyahu to the White House, all these issues have to be taken in consideration when we look at the wider pictures of the West Asian affair.
Yes, absolutely. And Dr. Awad, if you stay with us, because we're going to move away from